Hey everyone, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of Embers, an upcoming game from Button Shy. And as always, we take no money from publishers for doing previews. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So the basic idea of Embers is that you are a band of adventurers, 5 of you in the core game. If they have any expansions in the crowdfunding campaign, they didn't send them to me. Although, usually Button Shy has at least 1 or 2 for these. And you have your fire, which is going to be represented by these cards, which is sputtering out of life, and it's the only thing holding back these ravenous beasts that are waiting in the darkness to eat you. So basically, you're trying to survive. You're going to have the fire deck on top of this night card that starts out at a 4. And as you do stuff in the game, you'll be defeating these cards. They'll be like spawning as monsters on that side, and they'll be going to the back. And whenever you get to the night card, you're going to flip it to its next number, so like a 3, and then put it on the bottom again. Then when you get to again, you're going to flip it to its 2 and put it on the bottom again. And if you can survive until you see the 1 side, and then survive that turn, the round that the 1 is revealed, then you win the game. If your fire ever runs out completely, you have no cards left except for the night card in the deck, then you lose. And there's a very quick, straightforward one, so let me just kind of walk through how you go. So first you're going to take 4 of your 5 heroes randomly, and you're going to put them at the north, east, west, and south spaces. There's basically 8 spaces in the game. Okay, so imagine 1, 2, 3, 4 more spaces kind of at the diagonals. So these guys are facing out that way. And then the beasts are going to be coming in like, I got to zoom out more, don't I? Like that, also in one of those 8 spaces. And they'll be attacking the heroes. The heroes will be defending against them. Okay, here we go. Now that should be enough space. So I have 1 extra hero. They're going to be in my tent. They can come into play if one of my heroes gets defeated. I'm going to take 1 random fire card and put it over here. That's called the foraging pile. I can go and cut down some wood to grow the fire. And the rest goes in the middle on top of the night card set to the 4 side. And we're ready to go. Very quick setup. Then there are 4 steps to a round. Let's just jump in. And by the way, there are 3 difficulty settings in the core game that I got. I'm going to be playing on normal difficulty. I'll be honest, I do win on the hardest difficulty. I would say 50% of the time has been my win rate so far. So on normal, I expect it to be even easier to win. But the reason I want to play on normal is because every time you see the night card on easy or normal, you get to level up one of your heroes to their 2 heart side instead of their 1 heart side. And then they have like kind of fun abilities. It adds more differentiation between the characters. So even though hard is probably better to show the game in its most challenging form, I wanted to show you kind of the bells and whistles of the different characters. All right, so in the beginning of each round, we have the spawn monster phase. We're going to draw as many monsters as heroes that are up and defending the camp. We're not counting any heroes over here in the tent. And depending on how you do in a given round, you could have only like 1 or 2 heroes out, so you'd actually spawn fewer monsters. So how you spawn a monster is you draw the top card of the deck and flip it to its monster side, which has some icons here. We'll get to those in a second. And then you look at the new top card of the deck, and it's going to show one of the 8 quadrants, just to kind of zoom in on that there. So here, this monster is going to be here, and we're doing 4 of these. This one's going to be right here. This one's going to be up here. We're getting a lot of diagonals. And this one's going to also be down here on this diagonal. So you can have more than 1 monster. You display them out so you can see all of their attack icons. Now, just to show you real quick an important thing, each of the monsters they have fire icons sometimes. Those will actually take cards away from the fire and make you get closer to losing. They have claw icons. Those will attack your heroes and send them to the tent so you have fewer people, and also so that they level down, because when they get injured, they also get leveled back down to 1. And then they'll have these little I guess they're paws, clawed paws icons, and those are movement, because the monsters never want to spawn onto a space with a hero. So let's say that this last card had actually been like here instead of here. They would move clockwise as many spaces as their paw icons until they either run out of paws or until they get to a place without a hero. So let's say they spawn here on the scout. They have 1 paw. They would move 1 clockwise away from the scout. But let's say the leader was here. They would have 1 paw. They would move clockwise 1. Whoops, they're out of paws. They couldn't go again even though they would want to. Because if the monsters start on the same space as you, it's a lot easier for you to defeat them. So you can understand why they'd want to get away. And as a final note for the spawn phase, we will look at the top card of the deck. Every card has a little event here. This one says, no heroes may promote. Other effects will still flip them. That's one of the actions you can take to promote one of your characters to its stronger side. But this round, we can't use that action. Some of these are nastier, but they have red exclamation points. And if you're playing on easy mode, then you don't resolve those events. So that's the main difference between normal and easy. Both of them give you free level ups sometimes, but easy makes you face fewer events. All right, so now I'm going to the action phase. And each of the heroes, in whatever order I want, is going to get to take 2 actions. So what actions are available to them? First of all, they can move, they can mobilize, maneuver, it's maneuver, that's what it's called. They can maneuver. Each of them moves in a different way. So I'll go over those details in a second. Then they have the defend action. This will defeat one of the beast cards that is on their matching space. They can forage. That lets you get cards that have previously been damaged by the beast. So basically you build the fire back up without actually killing anybody. You can bolster, that's this little hand one. That takes 2 actions, the number of diamonds, so your entire turn. And when you do that, you pick any other hero, and they immediately resolve 1 action point for themselves. And then finally, you can promote, which costs both your actions as well, but flips you to your level 2 side, where some of your actions might change. And where you have 2 hearts, we'll see how that works once the enemies attack in a second. Now let's go through the movement, because that's really the only differentiating factor between the characters until you flip them to their level 2 side. So the scout has like this leap ability. What this means is they have to move through an empty space, and then they can jump over. The 2 dots means any number of. They can jump over any number of heroes that are adjacent to each other until they get to an empty space. You can never have more than 1 hero on the same space. So here the scout could go empty space, jump over leader to there, or empty space, jump over defender to there. But if the defender, let's say, was next to them, they could not go that way because they need that empty space to get a running start. The defender, on the other hand, is kind of like the barbarian in Diablo 2. They can leap over any number of people, but they don't get the running start of the scout. They have to have the people already next to them, any number of people. The leader is the most straightforward. They can just move 1 space, but it has to be empty. And the fire tender jumps across the fire to the opposite side. So here they would jump to where the scout is. If that space is occupied, they can go to either of the 2 adjacent spaces. But if everything is occupied, they can't move at all. All right, so here I feel like there's got to be a way for me to defeat all these people. Let's try this. Leader first. 1 action, 2 action. Any defeated beasts go to your hand. So do forage cards. And then these will get put on the bottom of the deck underneath the knight card, just building back up our fire so we don't lose, since you're kind of automatically taking damage from spawning every round. Okay, so that was the leader. And here, it's pretty easy to remember who's activated, but since I'm recording and I might forget, I'll just put little cubes on them. Okay, so leader. Now I'm going to have fire tender. Leap across, scouts there, so they can go adjacent. So that's 1, and they'll go 2. Defender will leap over and defeat one of these guys. You can pick either one when there's more than 1 there. And then Scout is going to bolster for both their actions. The Defender, give them 1 more action. Bam. Perfect round. Always like that. Then at the end of all your actions, you take all the monsters you defeated and or forage, you shuffle them up, and you put them on the bottom of the deck, again on the very bottom, so the knight card will end up in the middle of the deck until you actually get to it. But before I do that, let's talk about monster attacks, because that's the next phase, and I defeated everybody, so I'm not really going to show it to you. So we already talked about the movement icons. For the fire and the slash icons, here, let's say that like this guy was still there, and this guy was still there. So you resolve monsters in whatever order you want. Let's say that I did this one first. So for any fire icons, they just discard that many cards from the top of the deck, putting them into that forage pile so you could regain them later. But that's basically it. For the claw icons, you look at who the nearest person is. So here would be the defender in their space. But if they were here, you could pick between the leader or the defender when it's tied. And they apply all their claws to that person. So like here, this guy would be attacking the scout, but they have 0 claws, so the scout is fine. If somebody takes at least 1 claw when they're level 1, then they go into the tent and they can't be reinforced this round. If they take 1 claw when they're level 2, it doesn't hurt them at all. And damage doesn't build up. So like if this guy attacked him for 1 and then this guy also attacked him for 1 and then somebody over here attacked him for 1, he would just keep on trucking. But if you get attacked for 2, you go back down to level 1 and once again you're in the tent and you can't be reinforced this round. And these icons get added up when you have monsters stacked on each other. So here it would be a single 1 fire attack and a single hero attack of 4. So even a level 2 hero would be defeated. And then these monsters hang around, so we'll still summon like 3 or 4 more the next round, and you can see how that just kind of makes your your fire die. But yes, here we have defeated them all. And then we get to the final phase of the round, which is the reinforced phase. If you have fewer than 4 heroes, then you can bring in heroes in any empty space. So like you can't put them right adjacent to or like opposite a monster to fight them immediately. They would have to go like next to it. But only if they did not get defeated this round. So like if I had lost the scout and the defender, let's say, yes, I could bring the forager in, but the scout and the defender would still be sitting in the tent. Next round, I could bring them in for my full complement again. But here, I mean, that was a perfect round. So, like I said, sometimes you want to play on hard. So that didn't really matter here. All right, let's get back to spawning monsters. We're still getting 4. So we've got this guy over here where nobody is. We got this guy, okay, on the leader, but they've got up to 3 movements. They're moving clockwise there. We've got this person on the fire tender, with only 2 movements. This is why it's sometimes nice to have them in a cohesive line, because then you can get lucky and actually lock monsters down. And the last one is joining our buddy here. And we still haven't gotten to the night card. Okay, action. So defender can defeat that guy easily. And then maybe I'll have him forage. The fire tender could jump over to where the leader is and then get there. Yeah, I think I got this. Okay, so fire tender, boom, jumping over, attacking one of them. Defender attacking 1 and foraging. Leader moving 1 and attacking. Scout using both actions to bolster the fire tender, defeating that guy. So I actually got ahead of the game here. I got all 4 defeated plus the 1 card for foraging. Nice. And once again, no monster attacks, no reinforcing. Yeah, sometimes the game can get a little bit easy. All right, we are spawning monsters again. So this one's going to the bottom with the scout, and then they can move up to 3. Wow, so 1, 2, they actually got away from us. Okay, and then this guy's going over here. This is the third one. Oh, so whenever we get the night card, we pause spawning for a second because it clearly doesn't have a icon to tell us where it's going. We flip it to its next night, 3. And because we're playing on normal or easy, we get to flip one of our characters. So let's talk about their level 2 modes, and then we'll get to our third spawn. Scout, when they're on level 2, they can bolster other people incredibly well for 1 action instead of 2. So they can just give actions like candy exactly where they're needed. The Defender gains a double defend action, so 1 action lets them defeat 2 guys if they get a big stack in front of them. The Leader's movement levels up. So this means they can only move themselves 1 space. They can move anybody 1 space for 1 action, which is great. The Fire Tender gets this passive ability here where when they're the one targeted by a beast attack, they cancel 1 of the fire icons of that attack, so the beasts get less damage through. And then the Forager we haven't seen, her ability is to slide next to a hero through any number of empty spaces, so she can kind of like get to their side. And on her flip side, she gets a double forage for a single action, kind of like the Defender. So who do we want to level up? I mean, Leader is such a good one, just for consistently having the movement you need. So I'm going to level them up for free, which again is because we're playing on normal or easy. All right, so this dude, the third one, ends up next to the Fire Tender, rotates once. And the last person ends up next to the Defender with up to 3 movement. So they will come and join. Sorry, it's hard to remember which orientation I want. I guess they're facing towards the fire. Okay, so let's see. Defender can easily jump over there to attack them. Fire Tender has no way to move to these guys, but the Leader can move them 1. And then Scout. Yeah, Scout's going to be a little weird. I don't know if I can kill all the 4 guys this round. Well, let's start out. Let's have Defender jump over here, defeat one of these guys. Then that lets the Scout leap through this empty space across any number of dudes over to there. Second action, they can defeat this guy. This is not going to work out. But hey, good. We'll finally have some people actually get injured. So what's the best we can do here? I mean, that guy's actually got a claw. This one doesn't. So I want to defeat him if possible. So let's have the Leader go next, move the Scout once, and then I can move somebody else or not. Well, let's move the Fire Tender. They're kind of in a weird position. I don't have anything to forage right now. And then the Fire Tender will use both actions to bolster this guy to defeat them. All right. So we finally get a monster attack. They are targeting the Defender. They have no claws, which is good because the Defender was level 1, so they would have been defeated. But they do have 1 fire, so we lose 1 card over to the forage pile. And once again, no reinforcements. We're just rocking it. But we have 1 monster left. This is where the game can ramp up, as you can imagine. Oh, shoot. I totally forgot about the events. What was the one this time? Here's require 2 to forage. That wouldn't have mattered, but I definitely forgot it last round. Let's not forget the events anymore, Mike. That certainly makes the game easier. All right, so this guy's over here. That's 1. This guy's over here and has 2 movements, so joins this guy. That's 2. 3. And this one has 1 movement. 4. Okay. And event. Choose 1 hero to receive only 1 action instead of 2. Okay, Defender can defeat their guy. That's good. And then maybe forage. The Fire Tender can jump over here and attack. Oh, but who the heck can get over here? You know, I'm not 100% sure. Let's try this. Okay, Fire Tender is going to go first. Defeat this guy. That was 1. Oh, Leader can have them move. Oh, I didn't say who was getting 1 action. Let's say the Leader only gets 1 action. So I'll have that person move 1 for the Leader. Okay, and then Scout and Defender still have 2 actions. So Scout obviously is going to defend twice. Nice. And then defender will beat up this guy and I guess forage. So once again, we left somebody alive. All right, and they have to target the defender. Sadly, they are attacking for one, so the defender is defeated for the moment. If the leader had been there, they could have just tanked it. And they're doing 2 fire. Wow, that was actually pretty nasty. Should have focused on defeating that guy more. Okay, then reinforce, though, I do get to bring in the forager. Now, I cannot put them directly opposite the monster unless that was like there were no other options. So, what would be helpful? The leader can move anybody 1. The scout could leap over them. Let's put them there to allow the scout to go, and they're still within 1 for the leader to move them. All right, here we go. Oh, our first person is bringing us to the 2. We are nearing the end, and monster 1, bam. Monster 2, join our friend. Oh no. Monster 3 down here. Monster 4 on the scout and moving over. Okay, this is a little worrisome. What's our event? When revealed, all monsters at hero's locations step 1 space clockwise. Didn't matter here, but could be really annoying if you had set up somebody to get a kill. All right, so the scout can jump over there and defeat that. Oh, I forgot to get to level somebody up. Maybe the scout. I think their ability to give people bolstering is really nice, although now it's probably not going to work that great. Let's send the flame tender over here to defeat this guy. Then have... Oh, here, we can keep it simple. Leader, action 1, action 2, and then they can both. I was trying to like forage or something, but no, that works fine. We just kill everybody. So we're back to our flawless run, although we've lost 2 cards over there. But hey, cards being out of the deck does mean that you get back to the night card faster to finish up. All right, so we're going right back to the spawn phase. So that was 1. Or wait, they are facing towards the fire, Mike. They move like that. Okay, 2 and 3. They're hitting all the diagonals, aren't they? And doubling up 4. If monsters are stacked, only the top monster may be defeated, which is really a pretty minor one because this means that like if this monster was worse, like here we didn't want the 2 claws, we could not choose to fight them instead of somebody else. I think this one's gonna be pretty easy. Fire tender, jump across and go 1 to the side. Second action, defeat. Scout can go over here, defeat this guy. Leader can have the forager go there, and then forage 1 himself, and then forager, boom, boom. Took it down pretty easily. All right. So, yeah, I think we're going to win this one pretty straightforwardly. Again, though, we would not have any of these leveled up characters if I was playing on hard modes. We wouldn't have the leader's specialized movement. We wouldn't have the scout being able to bolster better. They wouldn't be able to tank damage as well. Oh, so we are going down to 1 hour. I get another level up. Let's do the forager for super foraging. Our first monster, would be here and keeps on going. Haha. But this guy's all by himself over here. This one's all by themselves. And we got 1 more over here. Now, let's see. I think I can do this. So forager can slide to be next to the guy, defeat him for 2. Fire tender can jump over here, defeat them, which gives scout the empty space to jump over them and defeat this guy. And then leader, not really having to do much. They can just move themselves and attack. No attack, no reinforce. All right, we got a monster here. Oh, wait. What was the freaking event? No more than 1 hero may forage. That didn't affect... God, I keep on forgetting. But that didn't affect us. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, but they move. And 4, and they move as well. Heroes require 2 to forage. I'm not foraging, guys. Chill out. It's okay. I know, this one's a little interesting. Is there a way to do this? I think I can. Scout will... Wait, that's what they're doing. Scout will leap through this empty space around them and then defeat this guy. Leader will move both the forager and the fire tender, 1 space each. Forager will double attack. Fire tender will attack and unfortunately cannot forage because it costs 2 actions this turn. All right, and we're just right back to spawning. Okay, this guy's coming in there. This one's over there. And okay, now it's the actual final round. Doubling up there. And doubling up there. Very interesting. Oh, and no more than 2 heroes may defend. If I didn't have the leader, this would be very tough. Oh, that's right. I get to level up somebody, don't I? Fine. The only guy's not leveled up. Yeah, like I was saying, if I didn't have 2 leaders, this would be tough. With the leader, this is pretty dang easy because I could just have the leader go first. Put the scout here and the fire tender here. And they can both take their actions so nobody else is defending. And hey, the forager can double forage a single card. All right, so we wrecked that one pretty badly. Like I said, I wanted you to see the leveled up characters. In hard mode, you can only level up from promoting yourself. Or wait, that's not the icon. From promoting yourself, which as you can see is very challenging to do, which does mean the game is a lot tougher, but also means that you don't tend to see the promoted powers as much in my experience. So what do I think of Embers? My big potential concern, and you kind of saw it in this playthrough, is that often the game has gone too easily for me. Even in hard mode, like I said, my win percentage is 50%, maybe even as high as like 60%. And at least according to the core rules that I have in the prototype, that is the hardest the game gets. So like some of the events are way worse than others. So like just to show you, no more than 2 heroes may maneuver, which means that only 2 of your heroes can move that round. So you're almost always going to leave somebody alive. What are some of the other ones? This one automatically levels a hero down to level 1, pretty nasty. Losing 1 action for the turn, pretty nasty. No heroes may bolster is pretty bad sometimes if you have those stacked monsters, because often you need that bolster, like giving somebody else an action to defeat them. No more than 2 heroes may defend, again, unless you have somebody like the leader, that can be really challenging. And look at this one. Spawn this card as an additional monster. Ignore the newly revealed events. You're always getting 5 monsters spawned that turn. So a little bit less than half the deck is like way nastier than the other half of the deck. And if you're not playing on easy mode, you have to resolve all of those events. So whether the bad events come out or not can swing the game quite a bit. And then on top of that, if you have either like a bad placement of monsters where they all get stacked and you just can't do enough damage or something like that, once you start getting like 1 monster left alive, clearly you can see how it will very easily spiral out of control because you're getting your people defeated. Now, you're spawning fewer monsters if there's fewer heroes in play, but if the monsters just keep on attacking, you can lose very quickly. So generally, I would say in my games, I tend to either have a terrible round that spirals into a loss, or I have, like you just saw in the playthrough, a fairly straightforward win. So I'm not sure what they could do about that. I think it's just kind of inherent in the game design. But I do want to be clear, the actual positional puzzle of like how to use your actions and how to fight with your people is really interesting and really fun. And I've had a good time playing the game every time I've played it. And it's so quick. I've played it like 10 times since getting the prototype, I don't know, a day or 2 ago. So I like the core gameplay. It can be swingy how challenging or not challenging it goes, unless maybe I'm getting a rule wrong or something. Although, again, I don't really know what to do, because like if they had you spawn 5 monsters a turn instead of 4, I just think it would be completely unwinnable. So, I don't know, maybe like making sure you get some of the bad events, or what would really do it, actually, because again, like I said, Button Shy tends to have little mini expansions with most of their campaigns. If they have a mini expansion that, first of all, has like more heroes, so you can have more variety, I would love that. Although you saw, they're pretty much the same except for their movement and whatever they get when they level up. But still, it'd be cool to have more heroes in an expansion. But the big thing would be if they had an expansion that had nastier events, and you would take out some of the easier events, because that would give you a little bit more granular control of the swinginess and the difficulty. So that's what I'm really hoping. But I have no idea, because they only sent me the core prototype, not any of the expansion prototypes. But yeah, besides that, like Embers is a fun game. I just hope one of the expansions or something gives you a way to not just make it harder, because again, sometimes it is hard. Sometimes you will just get your butt kicked, and you're desperately trying to hold on. But I would like that experience to be a bit more controlled and happen more consistently. And I think something like an expansion to give you nastier events, like all exclamation points, like, swap out 5 of the basic events and put in 5 more red exclamation point events. I think that would do the trick and make the game to the place where I would be consistently challenged, which is really all I'm looking for, because everything else about the game is fun and thematically cool. So yeah, that is Embers. Go check out the crowdfunding page, see what you think about it yourself. Hey, you can see whether I predicted the future or not with whatever they say about whatever mini expansions they're offering. And thanks for watching, everybody. Special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, Pedro Lucas, Miles, Wayne Scott, and KCW. We'll see you at the next stop.